like business impact of GST on imports and exports. So we'll see how GST will affect imports. At a high level, exports are not going to get affected because GST will not subsume export duty. Anyway, government is promoting export. They don't want any kind of duty. So we'll discuss all these things. And I hope my voice is audible to everyone. In case you have any question, you can come on the questions section. I hope you guys are able to see. And you can post your questions. We'll be taking all these questions. So the thing would remain same. What we have been following. We'll start with the agenda. We'll deep dive into our topics, and in and we'll take questions as well. So on that note, I'll just start, and also we feel very motivated when we see we have some repeated audience, so that shows that our efforts are in right direction. We have I can see Mr. Ajay, Mr. Naveen, Mr. Ravi. These guys have been joining every time, so that's very motivating for us. So on that note, we'll start our presentation, and so okay, so we'll start with our presentation. In case if you have any doubts, if you guys are facing any kind of technical glitch, you can let us know. You can put in chat box, or you can put a question also. So this is our today's agenda. So our agenda is to discuss what is the impact of goods and service tax on businesses which are dealing into imports and exports, which are into EXIM activities, to be precise. But before that, we'll also discuss about GST, basics of GST, because that's what we have been receiving, that our audience uh, want to understand more, they want to start afresh, and that also makes sense. So once the base is clear, you like every one of you can join in our subsequent webinars. So the plan is as such that ClearTax is developing its own GST platform. So all if you are a business, so all your compliance can be directly filed through our GST platform, and our platform will hold your data and will transport it to GSTN, which is the IT infrastructure for GST implementation. So that's the plan, and we are also educating all the businesses and practitioners with respect to all the provisions of goods and service tax. So this is the agenda for today. We'll start with a detailed overview of goods and service tax. So whoever has joined us, they know that every time we start with a basic overview of GST, but today we have changed this to detailed overview of GST. So we'll look into nitties and gritties of goods and service tax, how it is different from current tax regime, what are the taxes it is going to subsume, and what are the benefits to traders and to end consumers from implementation of goods and service tax. And then we'll deep dive into imports and exports. We'll look into what are the current provision of imports, and how GST is going to change the game for importers, and what are the key implication of goods and service tax. And finally, we'll have our question and answer round. So that's the typical flow that we follow every time. But before that, I'll just look if anyone is facing any kind of issue. So I hope, Naveen, that you are able to hear me. I think we are good with sound, and okay. Thanks, Naveen, for replying. And okay, so we'll all be like at the end of the session, I'll also let you guys know where our PPTs are going. How can you access to these PPTs? and these webinar video. So definitely that will also take care of. So coming back to our presentation, what is GST? I see that many of you have seen this particular slide many times. But again, I would like to reiterate for everyone that goods and service tax is a comprehensive tax on manufacture, sale, and consumption of goods and services at national level. So this definition. So if we go by the definition, it looks very complex, but we can definitely break this definition up. And if we talk about today, we have multiple taxes at multiple level. So we have excise duty at central level, we have services tax at central level, and then if we talk about state level, we have value added tax. Then we have entertainment tax in certain cases. Many states has entry level taxes, and how it is affecting businesses many times. It results into cascading. For example, goods are manufactured in a factory where excise duty is paid, and eventually when these goods are sold to a dealer, VAT or CST is charged. Now this VAT and CST is charged on a value which includes excise duty, so that is how it inflates the price for end consumer. So these are certain scenarios which GST is expected to address all these drawbacks. So coming back to our definition, goods and service tax is a comprehensive tax on manufacture, sale, and consumption. So this is a single tax on all kind of business activity, be it manufacture, be it sale, be it provision of services at a national level. Also, again, today businesses are operating in multiple states, and then they are complying with multiple VAT compliances. So that also inflates the compliance cost of businesses. So that is also expected to come down once GST goes live. Next, we have GST is a tax on goods and services with value addition at each stage. So this concept is coming from the previous region. So today, if you see in value added tax or in the concept of SEN, that we see like whatever taxes we pay at the time of purchase is available as credit at the time of sale. So as a business, you are required to pay tax only on the amount of value addition that you have done. Also, GST will subsume many state level and central level indirect taxes. What these taxes are going to be, that we'll discuss again. This particular point we have been skipping in our previous sessions, but today, since it's a detailed overview, we'll cover all these taxes which are going to get subsumed under goods and service tax. And also GST is going to address many drawbacks. So one is the cascading of taxes. How it works, definitely we'll discuss more in detail. But at a high level, cascading means tax on tax. So you are paying VAT on an amount which includes excise duty. You pay service tax on an amount which includes VAT. So these all are the example of cascading of taxes. Okay. Now coming on to the benefits part of it, so GST is definitely going to benefit both traders and consumer. So one of the biggest benefit for traders is single registration. So today we are into a dynamic environment wherein businesses are providing services, at the same time they are dealing into goods as well. So they are complying to multiple VAT laws in each state, and then they are also complying with services tax. So that so multiple compliances at multiple level definitely increases cost of doing business, and it also complicates the business as well. So so once GST comes in, it's a single registration. You just have to obtain single registration in a state, and then you can provide services, you can deal in goods, and you can do manufacturing activities as well. So check on cascading, definitely we discussed like how it is going to address all cascading effect. And one of the key benefit under GST is it is going to convert India into a single marketplace. So today what happens is when goods move from one state to another state, many times it happens that these trucks or these transport vehicle have to wait at the state border for they have to comply with the state law, they have to pay entry tax, and then only they can move into that particular state. So these kind of scenario will not exist. Goods can move freely, and you can expect fast deliveries once GST goes live. So GST will convert whole of India into a single marketplace. And definitely, so we have seen, once GST goes, cost of compliance will come down, cost of production will come down, cascading will not be there. cost of transportation will come down. So all these initiatives will definitely result into prices. And if you talk about India, India is a price sensitive economy, in the sense Indian consumer responds very quickly on price changes. So as soon as the prices will fall, definitely demand is going to increase, and this will also boost the or economic consumption. So that is again an economic benefit that we can witness under the GST regime. Operational efficiencies, definitely yes. Low logistic cost, higher working capital, in the sense today if you are dealing with multiple states, in the sense you are comparing to multiple states, your refund is struck with multiple states, so that also inflates the amount of working capital that is required. But under a single compliance system, you'll have more money at your end for disposal, and you'll have higher working capital. So these kind of operational efficiencies will also prevail under GST regime, and definitely it's a simplified tax regime. That is what the objective of government when they claim for GST implementation. Now coming onto the flip side, like how GST is going to affect consumers is what are the benefits to end consumer? Definitely cheaper goods. As I said that India is a price sensitive economy. So once prices comes down, definitely demand will rise. Indian consumer can expand more. They can have better services at similar prices. And again, simpler tax system. So many times this kind of queries come that uh, how a simplification of taxes will affect consumers. Definitely I'll give you an example. So today so yesterday it was Valentine's Day, and many people went to eating joints, restaurants, and it's a very casual example. And after you had your dinner, you saw your bill and you see that it has services tax, it has value added tax, and it has services charge. And one frequent question that comes into mind is why are we paying so many taxes? Why VAT is charged on services tax, or the vice versa, that depends on state to state. These kind of questions do come at multiple point of time. So once under the single tax regime, you'll have a single tax applicable on your invoice, and it definitely makes the tax system very simple to absorb. And another benefit to consumer is uniformity in prices across countries. So what happens today is, in some states the rate of value added tax can be low, and in another state on similar goods it can be higher. So these kind of discrepancies do happen. So many times consumers who are buying in bulk, they do arbitrary transaction wherein they obtain goods from other states. So these kind of scenarios will not be there. Will have uniform price across the country. And definitely when demand is going to rise, demand will definitely result into higher production will definitely generate more employment. So for a layman, it is also going to bring more good news. So what are the various kind of indirect taxes that we have? I think it's a self-explanatory. You can have a quick overview of it. Yeah. So today when we talk about all the indirect taxes that we have state level taxes, we have central level taxes, services tax, excise duty, customs duty. When we talk about customs duty, we have basics custom duty, countervailing duty, special additional duty, then preventive duty, anti-dumping duty. Then we have central sales tax, which is being collected by state government. When we talk about state level taxes, we have value added tax, luxury tax, entertainment tax, entry tax, electricity duty. And also, so the business dynamics today are as such, wherein you cannot have a specific compliance at specific time, in the sense that you may provide services, at the same time you're also dealing in goods. You may do interstate and intrastate supplies. In provision of your services, you may import certain kind of goods and pay import duty, and many a times your goods may be coming from different state, and you may have to pay entry taxes. So the business dynamics are as such that all businesses are required to comply to multiple taxes, both at central level and state level, and that is one of the reason why GST is being introduced. So 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 again, discussing further on current taxes, we have VAT applicable on goods. You can quickly go through this slide and it will give you a good understanding of what all taxes we have. So about goods, we have value-added tax. On services, we have services tax. VAT is a state level tax, service tax is a central levy, then multiple compliances, and different states have different VAT procedures. So some states want all your invoices to get uploaded, wherein in other states you can simply put your return on turnover basis. So these definitely complexes the compliance procedure for businesses. Now, coming on to the features of proposed GST law. So it's a definition-based consumption tax. So this is very critical and this is very important to understand, because today we are so the principle today is not destination based. It is origin based. So wherever the goods are originated from, tax will be collected in that particular state. So I'll give you an example to make it more clear. So let's say there's a transaction between Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. The dealer from Tamil Nadu sells his goods to a person in Maharashtra. So if you talk about the current regime, central sales tax will be collected by the state government of Tamil Nadu, because goods have originated from Tamil Nadu. But going forward under GST regime, it has destination based consumption principle. So the tax would be collected, or GST would be collected by the government of Maharashtra. So that is one of the major change that we are going to witness under goods and service tax. So also the definition, so a new definition has been introduced under GST, which is supply. So if we talk about the current regime, we have VAT or CST applicable at the time of sale. However, this definition has been changed to supply. Under GST, tax would be liable to be paid as soon as supply has been done. So what all like how supply is defined, definitely so it's a very deep concept in itself. We have extensively written about supply on our blog, and we'll be doing another webinar on supply. So we'll cover it there. Again, seamless input credit throughout the supply chain. Today, a VAT dealer does not have any credit of services tax that he has paid, and vice versa case. So, but under the GST regime, it is going to be a seamless input credit. So, irrespective of whether you have availed services or whether you have manufactured, whatever GST you have paid at the time of purchase or at the for inputs, so that will be available as credit at the time of sale or supply. Again, it's going to be a single compliance. And one another new concept that is very specific to Indian economy is GST has been broken up into three different taxes, which is CGST, SGST, and IGST. So CGST and SGST are applicable at the time of intra-state transaction when goods are supplied within state, whereas IGST, which is integrated goods and service tax, is applicable at the time of interstate supply. So when goods move from, let's say, Tamil Nadu to Maharashtra, in those cases IGST would be applicable. And these are the high level taxes that are going to get subsumed under goods and service tax. Again, we may have multiple notification coming, multiple clarifications in the name of circulars that we may see after GST gets enacted. But as of now, the understanding is as such that services tax, central excise duty, central sales tax, and additional duty of excise and surcharge and cess, which all our central taxes are going to get subsumed under GST. Also, if you talk about state level taxes, we have VAT, entertainment tax, entry tax, luxury tax, and any kind of tax on lottery, betting, and gambling is going to subsumed under GST. We may have more taxes coming under GST, but we still have to wait for that. So, okay. I think, and guys, in case if you have any kind of doubt, any kind of query, feel free to ask. You can put your question. I'll keep referring to the question section. So that is all that we had planned today as a detailed overview of goods and service tax. We can have detailed slides, and in fact we can have numerous slides within we can discuss about goods and service tax, but we'll hold it up there. at a large, we have covered all the basics of GST. And now we'll move into specifics of our agenda for today, which is import and export, how GST is going to affect imports and export. So if we talk about today, as part of import duties, we have basic custom duty, which we usually refer as BCD. We have additional duty or countervailing duty, CVD. We have special additional duty. We have anti-dumping duty, safeguard duty, protective duty. So all these duties have been notified with respect to specific provision. Some duties are there to set off excise duty that we have. Some is there to set off the effect of value-added tax in domestic market. Some anti-dumping duty is to avoid dumping of goods. Basically, so we have observed that too much of imports are coming from China, which is of inferior quality. So to avoid such kind of import, the government introduced anti-dumping duty. So again, as an importer, you have to make sure that all these duties with respect to all the transaction or all the imports that you are doing are paid in time, and then you file respective return. Also, so the agenda for today is to discuss both import and export, but just to give you a background understanding, that export is anyway does not have many duties. So government promotes export. They want as much export possible, because we'll have foreign reserves will definitely inflate if we have increased export. So again, GST is not going to change the position of a export dealer. So whatever export duty, if at all, he is required to pay, that will continue under GST region. Major change will come for the importer. So in our discussion as well, we'll be discussing mostly about the implication from an importer standpoint. Now, if we have an understanding of current regime, any importer or exporter is required to first obtain a IEC number from DGFT. So IEC stands for Import Exporter Code Number. Without this number, you cannot carry out any kind of export or import activity. So that is one of the prerequisites. Also, so another declaration that you need to file as an importer is you have to report the source of item for import. So what is the source, from where it is coming, and who's the person from whom you are obtaining such goods. So this kind of declaration is again a prerequisite before you carry out any import transaction. Also, we also have a harmonized system of classification. We have already published about HSN codes. Many of you who must have enrolled into GST knows about the implication of HSN code. Under GST, every code will be mapped to a HSN code, and basis that code, the rate of tax will be determined. So same rate is applicable in case of import as well. All the goods that are imported are first identified with their HSN code, and some of these goods are further categorized as licensed item and canalized item. So licensed item are the items which you cannot import until and unless you have a license from government. Similarly, canalized items are items such as petroleum product, which can only be imported by way of government channels. So um, so canalized items are as such, and these identification are made basis HSN code. So also I would like to inform you people that very soon we are going to go live with our HSN calculator. It is currently under testing, and it is a very intuitive calculator wherein you can come to our calculator and you can see what all you can simply put a description, or you can simply put for example, if you want to know the HSN code of mobile phone, you can put mobile phone and it will tell you what is the relevant HSN code. I'll quickly take you through our launch page of it. So this is our launch page for our GST platform. I'm sure that I showed this to you last time as well. So if at all, so we have been doing this webinar on every Wednesday, but you may have queries, you may have some troubleshooting that you may have to do. So you can quickly come to this particular website or platform, which is cleartax.in/GST. If you need any kind of help, you can come to need help section. You can click on GST, and if you see here, we have detailed articles where like we have extensively covered all the basics and in fact advanced concept of GST here. So, and in fact it's so if you see, you can quickly find various kind of impact analysis on various industries and various guides with respect to how you can operate on GST portal. So, so our HSN calculator is already live. I'll quickly take you there also. So you can quickly scroll, or you can just have a quick uh, view about this platform. And coming back to our HSN calculator, so I hope my screen is visible. So you can come to this calculator HSN lookup. It is very intuitive and very helpful. And you can, for example, let's say you are dealing into livestock, or let's say you so if I search for a random search of horse, so you can see whether it's a live animal, whether it is for me, whether, so it also classifies, so what chapter it is, what subchapter it is, and what is the product and license code, and finally the code. So so this thing is not available as of now. Like, there's no platform which tells you in this much of detail what is the HSN code that may be applicable on your product. So definitely you can come to our calculators. Again, these calculators are available on our launch page, you can see, and we are also going to come up with various other calculators with respect to time of supply of goods, time of supply of services, then what is the compliance calendar under GST. So definitely all these calendars are will be coming very soon. So one quick thing that you can do to remain update on GST development is simply click on join discussion. You can come to our Facebook page and post your queries there. You can see all the events, all the webinars that we are going to conduct. You can also have the opinion of our expert. You can ask an expert. You can click on it and have a conversation, have a call with our experts. So we have also published detailed videos on GST, so you can come to our YouTube channel. Okay, okay, so so coming back to our presentation, so we're discussing about the current processes that we have. Um, Now, what are the implication of GST? How GST is going to change the picture? So again, if you go back to our slide, so here we see that we have multiple duties as an importer which are required to be paid on various transactions. If we talk about GST, GST is going to subsume countervailing duty and special additional duty as of now. So the law as such clarify that basic customs duty will still remain and will still do its count. So in case if you import anything, you will be required to pay basic customs duty, and you will be required to pay GST. And again, imports are defined as interstate supply in GST law. What that means is, in case of interstate supply, IGST is applicable, which is integrated goods and service tax. So any kind of import that has happened will also attract IGST. So as an importer, you'll be required to pay basic customs duty and IGST. Again, one good thing as an importer is you'll have a seamless credit of IGST that you have paid. So that is something which is currently not available. And on a flip side of it, importers have a number of exemptions today. They are not required to pay duty on certain goods uh, that they uh, that they import into India. And though there is no clarification on such kind of exemption, but the understanding is as such that government is going to abolish all these exemptions, and then they are going to reroute it through a refund mechanism. So that is something which may worry all the importers, because a good amount of your working capital is will then go and stuck as GST, which you have to again claim back by way of return filing. So the provisions are as such. The final law is yet to come. So we definitely cannot comment on that. So import will be an interstate supply, and it will attract integrated goods and service tax. Um, in case of import of services, so again, if you are the service provider today, or if you are importing services, so all the business to business transaction has a liability to pay service tax by way of a reverse charge mechanism. So if you are receiving services, still you are required to pay taxes, because you are importing it from a person residing outside India. So the same principle has been carried forward into GST regime as well. So if you are a GST registered business, and if you are importing any kind of services, be it online, you are required to pay GST on a reverse charge mechanism. Another change that we are going to witness under GST is transaction value based valuation principle. Most of the valuation principles are yet to be notified, but as of now, GST model GST law has suggested that all the imports will be valued at the basis of transaction value. So one change that is going to happen is CBD today is being charged on MRP valuation. So very interesting to see that how IGST will place uh, as the transaction value, because this may also reveal the margin of service provider at the time of payment of tax. So that is one challenge that we may face. Also, another feature or another implication of GST is, again, it has refund of duty. So any kind of import, if you are into an import and sale model of business, definitely you'll have your refund if your goods are eligible under the notified list. So all these lists are yet to be notified, but the law has kept the provision of all these of refund procedure or transaction value. Detailed notification and detailed valuation principles are yet to follow, and we at ClearTax will definitely be publishing whatever notification or whatever circulars GST Council floats in with respect to all these changes. Uh, okay. Okay. Uh, then again, this we have also discussed that most of the current exemptions that we have today might be withdrawn. So again, it's a wide opinion that all these exemptions are going to withdrawn under GST, and eventually they'll be converted into a refund mechanism scheme wherein importer or the business is required to first pay the duty and then claim it by way of return filing. So more details are yet to follow. Again, one thing, so very big impact is going to happen on special economic zones and export oriented units, because these are the units which have been specifically notified to promote import and export, but no specific provision have been contained in GST with respect to how GSTs will be collected from these units. So this can definitely, if no notification or circular is provided, this can fundamentally change the attractiveness of all these units. So as an importer, most of the importers are very skeptic today that what are the implication of being operating from a EOU or SEZ. So if it is going to be as straightforward as a unit operating in domestic tariff area, then definitely units are going to move outside these EOUs and SEZs. So that's all the high level discussion that we plan for today. If you have any kind of question with respect to import or export, or with respect to the basics of GST, please start posting your queries. We'll start taking it up. if you have any kind of feedback, if you want us to cover any other area, any specific area, you can come up with that. And you can also join us on our Facebook forums. You can post your comments there. We have been, and this is a standard webinar. We have been doing this webinar on every Wednesday. So one thing that you can do is you can mark your calendar for every Wednesday for GST webinar of clear text, and so that will also remind you. And please start posting your queries if you have any. You can also mail it to us. I think we have very limited queries today, which makes sense because even today imports, I mean, not much clarification has been provided by the GST law itself. We are trying to build this thought leadership from opinion per se, but yes, definitely, and that is the reason why we covered basics of GST in our today's session. And one thing, yeah, like you can float this information to your friends, to your colleagues, to your network, that we are going to do extensively all these basics of GST presentation and webinars again. So you can definitely like if you have missed on this basics of GST and the other webinars that we have done. So just for the information perspective, we have done webinars on registration process. We have done this webinar on credit mechanism, and in our last webinar we covered the implication on job work. Definitely we'll be doing all these webinars again for our audience, so you can float that news to your WhatsApp group. We have created WhatsApp groups as well, and we understand that like many of you are there in those WhatsApp groups, so you can give your feedback in those groups as well. You can let us know to add your friends and to keep everyone updated on all the aspect with respect to GST. Okay, so we have a feedback from Havi Bajaj, if you can have more practical examples, definitely yes. So going forward, we'll also try to include infographic examples wherein you can, which will make it more consumable for you. So we are also working on that, and that feedback is well taken. So we have some feedback coming from Manish Sharma. Thanks for joining, and. And again, I'll quickly take you through our guide page, because I think that that is something which I must cover. So this webinar we are doing on every Wednesday, but here if you see, we have extensive guides. So in case you have any kind of troubleshooting that you need to do, if you are the operating an SEZ unit, and if you want to know what is the implication there, or if you want to get your enrollment done as a service provider, you can refer to our guides. Uh, if you want to know about composition schemes, what are the implications, whether you should opt for it, if you are planning for it, or what are going to be the implication, you can come to all these guides. You can share these guides on your Facebook profile. uh, one major implication is, many businesses today are also into e-commerce, and GST is going to change the scenario of how e-commerce is operating today. So you can have all this understanding today. So also we try to make our guides as simple as possible, and as consumable as possible, so you can have quick pointers here. You can see all these pointers here. You can quickly navigate to the relevant section which is applicable on you, and have a good understanding of it. So okay, then that's all for today. Thanks for joining, and thank you so much.